On the serene, gravity-light planet of Tephara, Mathew Gordon moved with the measured grace of a man whose mind constantly worked faster than his body. As an opticin engineer, his expertise in optics and quantum mechanics was unparalleled. Mathew's days were spent in a pristine laboratory, his frail frame dwarfed by towering stacks of equipment and intricate machinery. Colleagues marveled at his intellectual prowess, often consulting him on complex problems. Despite his physical limitations, Mathew's contributions to opticin science were invaluable, earning him widespread respect. Tephara's peaceful routine was abruptly shattered by alarming news. The Zephar, a notorious alien species known for their relentless conquest of planets, had begun their campaign in the sector. Fear rippled through the opticin government as they received intelligence reports confirming the Zephar's plans to invade Tephara. The opticin military quickly realized their current soldiers, accustomed to the planet's gentle gravity, would be ill-equipped to face the brutal high-gravity conditions where the Zephar thrived. In a desperate bid to bolster their defenses, the government announced an elite training program. This initiative, unprecedented in its ambition, would be led by human military experts from Earth. The aim was to transform select opticin volunteers into soldiers capable of enduring and fighting in high-gravity environments. The announcement sent shockwaves through Tephara, with many doubting the feasibility of such a drastic transformation. Despite widespread skepticism, Mathew felt a deep sense of duty stir within him. Protecting his home was a responsibility he could not ignore, no matter the personal cost. His decision to volunteer for the program surprised many, including himself. Mathew knew that the path ahead would be grueling, yet his resolve was unwavering. The prospect of Earth's crushing gravity was daunting, but his intellect and determination were his greatest assets. As the selected recruits, including Mathew, prepared for their journey to Earth, the atmosphere was thick with apprehension. The transition was brutal. Upon arrival, the crushing weight of Earth's gravity brought many to their knees. Simple tasks like walking and lifting became Herculean challenges. For Mathew, every step was a test of willpower, his muscles screaming in protest with each movement. Amidst this harsh new reality, the recruits were introduced to their human trainers. Among them was Sergeant Jackson, a grizzled veteran with years of experience in high-gravity combat. Jackson's stern demeanor and no-nonsense approach intimidated many, but he saw potential in Mathew. Recognizing the young engineer's determination, Jackson took a particular interest in his progress. Training commenced with relentless intensity. The recruits were pushed to their physical limits, and many questioned their decision to volunteer. Mathew, despite his initial struggles, approached each challenge with a methodical mindset. His intellectual approach allowed him to devise techniques to compensate for his physical weaknesses, gradually improving his stamina and strength. As the days turned into weeks, bonds began to form among the recruits. Mathew found camaraderie in Jara, another opticin scientist, and Kex, a warrior from a neighboring low-gravity planet. These friendships provided emotional support, a crucial element in enduring the grueling regimen. Together, they faced the daily rigors of training, their shared struggles forging a strong sense of unity. The turning point came when the recruits faced their first major test, a simulated combat scenario in a high-gravity environment. This test was designed to assess their ability to apply the skills they had learned under extreme conditions. As the simulation began, Mathew's heart pounded in his chest, the weight of the gravity pressing down on him. Drawing on his intellectual prowess, Mathew analyzed the environment and devised a strategy. He utilized the terrain to his advantage, setting traps and using misdirection to outsmart the simulated opponents. His ingenuity impressed the human trainers, particularly Sergeant Jackson, who saw in Mathew the potential for true greatness. Despite his success in the simulation, Mathew knew his journey was far from over. The road ahead was fraught with challenges, both physical and mental. Yet the progress he had made fueled his determination to continue. As he lay in his bunk that night, exhausted but resolute, Mathew's thoughts turned to the looming threat of the Zephar. He had taken the first steps toward becoming the defender his planet needed, but the real battle was yet to come. With each day, Mathew grew stronger, both in body and spirit. His resolve to protect Tephara from the Zephar's impending invasion deepened, driving him to push beyond his limits. The elite force, once a distant hope, was becoming a formidable reality. Mathew's transformation had begun, setting the stage for the trials that lay ahead. Chapter 2 Rigorous Training. Mathew's first days on Earth were a continuous struggle against the relentless pull of gravity. Every movement was a monumental effort, a battle against forces his body was not designed to withstand. He watched as some of his fellow recruits, overwhelmed by the intensity, considered quitting. But Mathew, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to protect his home, pressed on. The recruits' initial training focused on basic physical conditioning. Under the stern eyes of their human trainers, they performed grueling exercises designed to build strength and endurance. Sergeant Jackson's voice cut through the air like a whip, barking orders and pushing them to their limits. Despite the harsh conditions, the recruits began to adapt, their bodies slowly acclimating to the crushing gravity. Among the recruits, Mathew formed close bonds with Jara and Kex. Jara, a fellow opticin scientist, shared Mathew's intellectual approach to problem-solving, while Kex, a warrior from a neighboring planet, provided a different perspective with his combat experience. Together, they navigated the challenges of training, their friendship becoming a source of strength and encouragement. The training regimen was relentless. Physical exercises were interspersed with combat drills and survival skills, all designed to prepare the recruits for high-gravity combat. Mathew's progress, though slow, was steady. His methodical approach allowed him to devise techniques to compensate for his physical limitations, impressing his trainers with his ingenuity. One of the most challenging aspects of training was the simulated combat scenarios. These exercises, designed to mimic real battle conditions, tested the recruits' ability to think and act under pressure. In one such scenario, Mathew's team faced an ambush in a dense forest. Utilizing his knowledge of optics and terrain, Mathew devised a plan to outmaneuver the attackers, leading his team to a hard-earned victory. Despite his successes, Mathew faced numerous setbacks. Injuries were common, and moments of self-doubt threatened to undermine his resolve. However, the support of his friends and the mentorship of Sergeant Jackson helped him push through these challenges. Jackson, recognizing Mathew's potential, provided personalized training, sharing his own experiences and teaching Mathew the importance of mental fortitude. As the weeks turned into months, Mathew's physical condition improved significantly. Tasks that had once seemed impossible became manageable, and his confidence grew. The training program shifted to more advanced techniques, including zero-gravity combat and teamwork exercises. Mathew's leadership qualities began to emerge, often guiding his team to success with innovative strategies. The turning point in Mathew's training came during a high-stakes simulation. The recruits were tasked with defending a strategic outpost from a simulated Zephar attack. The scenario was designed to test their ability to work as a cohesive unit under extreme pressure. Mathew, drawing on everything he had learned, took charge of his team. His strategic planning and quick thinking turned the tide of the battle, leading to a decisive victory. The simulation's success marked a significant milestone in Mathew's journey. His leadership and innovative thinking had earned the respect of his trainers and fellow recruits. Yet the path ahead remained fraught with challenges. The looming threat of the Zephar invasion cast a shadow over their achievements, a constant reminder of the stakes. Mathew's relationship with Jara deepened over time, their mutual respect evolving into a bond that provided emotional support amidst the rigors of training. Kex, too, became a close confidant, his combat experience and warrior spirit a source of inspiration. Together, they formed a tight-knit group, their shared experiences forging a strong sense of camaraderie. As the end of their training approached, the recruits faced their final test, a full-scale simulation designed to mimic the conditions of an actual Zephar invasion. The stakes were high, and the pressure was immense. Mathew, now a seasoned leader, approached the challenge with determination and confidence. The simulation was brutal, pushing the recruits to their limits, but Mathew's team emerged victorious, their skills and training paying off in full. The success of the final test marked the culmination of Mathew's transformation. From a frail engineer to a formidable soldier, his journey had been one of growth and resilience. Yet, as the recruits prepared to return to Tephara, the real challenge lay ahead. The Zephar invasion loomed, and the newly trained elite force would soon be called upon to defend their home. As Mathew reflected on his journey, he knew that the battles they had faced during training were but a prelude to the real fight. The bonds he had formed, the lessons he had learned, and the strength he had gained would be crucial in the days to come. With his friends by his side and the support of their human trainers, Mathew was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The chapter ends with a sense of anticipation and readiness, setting the stage for the impending conflict with the Zephar. Mathew's transformation is complete, but the true test of his skills and leadership is yet to come. Mathew's growth was profound. He had transcended his frail beginnings, now embodying a blend of intellectual and physical prowess. Earth's relentless training had reshaped him, preparing him for the looming Zephar threat. His resolve, bolstered by the friendships and mentorships he had formed, was unyielding. The training intensified. Advanced techniques dominated the regimen, from zero-gravity combat drills to complex teamwork exercises. Each session was a crucible, testing their mettle. Sergeant Jackson, recognizing Mathew's potential, offered tailored guidance. His teachings were a mixture of tactical wisdom and hard-earned battlefield lessons, which Mathew absorbed with eager determination. Mathew's leadership qualities flourished during these exercises. In a particularly grueling scenario, his team was tasked with navigating a simulated battlefield in zero gravity. The mission required both strategic planning and precise execution. Mathew's innovative thinking shone as he devised a strategy that maximized their strengths while exploiting the environment. Under his command, the team executed the plan flawlessly, securing a decisive victory. The camaraderie among the recruits deepened. Jara, with her scientific acumen, and Kex, with his warrior's heart, became Mathew's closest allies. Their bond was more than mere friendship. It was a partnership forged in the fires of shared adversity. Together, they pushed each other to new heights, their combined efforts surpassing what any of them could achieve alone. However, the journey was not without its trials. Mathew faced personal setbacks, including injuries that tested his physical and mental resilience. During one particularly harsh training session, he sustained a severe leg injury. The pain was excruciating, and the recovery period was fraught with frustration. But Mathew's resolve never wavered. With the support of Jara and Kex, he overcame this hurdle, emerging stronger and more determined. Jackson's mentorship played a pivotal role in Mathew's transformation. The sergeant shared not only tactical knowledge but also life lessons. One evening, during a rare moment of respite, Jackson recounted his experiences from past battles. His stories were filled with wisdom and caution, underscoring the importance of mental fortitude and strategic thinking. These sessions were invaluable to Mathew, shaping his approach to both training and leadership. As the recruits approached the culmination of their training, the atmosphere grew tense. The final simulation was on the horizon, a comprehensive test designed to mirror the conditions of an actual Zephar invasion. The pressure was immense, but Mathew's team was ready. They had been tempered through months of rigorous preparation, their skills honed to a fine edge. The simulation commenced with a sudden, intense onslaught. Mathew's team was tasked with defending a strategic outpost against a relentless enemy force. The scenario was brutal, designed to push them to their limits. Mathew's leadership was immediately put to the test. He quickly assessed the situation, formulating a plan that leveraged their strengths and mitigated their weaknesses. The battle was fierce. The simulated Zephar forces were relentless, pressing the recruits on all fronts. Mathew's strategic acumen and calm under pressure guided his team through the chaos. They executed maneuvers with precision, their training evident in every move. Jara's scientific expertise provided crucial insights, while Kex's combat skills were invaluable in the thick of the fight. Midway through the simulation, they faced a critical juncture. The enemy had breached their defenses, threatening to overrun their position. Mathew, drawing on Jackson's teachings and his own experiences, devised a daring counterattack. Leading from the front, he inspired his team to push back with renewed vigor. The counterattack was a success, turning the tide of the battle and securing their objective. The victory in the simulation was a testament to their growth and cohesion. Mathew's leadership, combined with the skills and determination of his team, had seen them through the challenge. The trainers, including Sergeant Jackson, were impressed by their performance, acknowledging the recruits' transformation from novices to capable soldiers. As the simulation ended, the recruits were met with applause and commendations. The success of the final test marked the end of their training and the beginning of a new chapter in their journey. They had proven themselves, but the real battle still lay ahead. The Zephar invasion was imminent, and the elite force would soon be called into action. Mathew's reflection on their journey was filled with a sense of achievement, but also a sobering awareness of the challenges to come. The bonds he had formed, the lessons he had learned, and the strength he had gained would be crucial in the days ahead. He felt a profound sense of readiness, tempered by the knowledge that their true test was yet to come. As the chapter concludes, the recruits prepare to return to Tephara, their spirits high but their minds focused. The impending Zephar invasion looms large, but Mathew and his team are ready to face it. The stage is set for the climactic battle, with the elite force poised to defend their home and confront the formidable Zephar threat. The Zephar invasion commenced with a thunderous assault on Tephara, their warships casting ominous shadows over the planet's surface. The newly trained elite force, led by Mathew, was swiftly deployed to strategic locations to repel the invaders. The gravity of the situation pressed heavily on Mathew and his comrades, but their rigorous training and unwavering resolve fortified them for the impending battle. Mathew's team was assigned to defend a critical energy facility, a linchpin in Tephara's defense network. The Zephar aimed to cripple the planet's power supply, and the elite force had to prevent this at all costs. As they arrived at the facility, the sky was ablaze with laser fire and explosions, painting a grim portrait of the conflict. The battle began in earnest. Zephar soldiers, formidable and relentless, stormed the facility with ruthless precision. Mathew, drawing on his extensive training and innate ingenuity, orchestrated a defensive strategy that maximized their tactical advantage. His team fought valiantly, their combined efforts creating a formidable barrier against the invaders. Midway through the conflict, Mathew received intelligence about a key Zephar weapon, a massive artillery cannon positioned on a nearby hill, capable of devastating the entire facility. Recognizing the critical threat, Mathew devised a bold plan to neutralize it. He would lead a small team to infiltrate the enemy lines and disable the cannon, buying precious time for the defenders. Selecting Jara and Kex for the mission, Mathew briefed them on the perilous task ahead. They moved swiftly under the cover of darkness, their movements synchronized and silent. The journey to the artillery position was fraught with danger, as Zephar patrols roamed the area. Mathew's keen strategic mind guided them through enemy territory, avoiding detection with remarkable skill. As they neared the artillery cannon, they encountered heavy resistance. Zephar soldiers, guarding the weapon with fierce determination, posed a significant challenge. Mathew's team engaged in a fierce skirmish, their combat skills honed by months of training. Jara's precision strikes and Kex's brute strength complemented Mathew's strategic maneuvers, creating a symphony of coordinated attacks. The battle reached its zenith as they approached the cannon. Mathew, recognizing the urgency, devised a plan to plant explosives at key structural points. As they fought their way closer, Kex was struck by enemy fire. Despite his grievous injuries, Kex refused to retreat, insisting on completing the mission. His determination inspired Mathew and Jara, fueling their resolve. With the explosives in place, Mathew gave the signal to retreat. Kex, unable to move, insisted on staying behind to ensure the mission's success. His sacrifice weighed heavily on Mathew, but there was no time for hesitation. As they withdrew, Kex detonated the explosives, obliterating the cannon and himself in a blaze of glory. The resounding explosion marked a significant victory, but at a steep cost. The destruction of the artillery cannon turned the tide of the battle. Reinforced by Mathew's strategic success, the elite force redoubled their efforts, pushing the Zephar invaders back with relentless determination. Mathew, fueled by the loss of his friend, led the charge with unparalleled fervor, his every action a testament to Kexa's sacrifice. The battle raged on, each moment a crucible of courage and resilience. Mathew's leadership and innovative tactics were instrumental in maintaining the upper hand. Jara, though grieving, fought with renewed vigor, her scientific expertise providing crucial support. The combined might of the elite force gradually overwhelmed the Zephar, driving them into retreat. As the last of the invaders were repelled, a resounding cheer echoed through the battlefield. Tephara had been saved, thanks to the unwavering resolve and unbreakable bonds of its defenders. Mathew, though weary and burdened by loss, stood tall as a hero. His journey from frail engineer to formidable warrior had come full circle, a testament to his growth and determination. The aftermath of the battle was a mixture of celebration and reflection. The victory, though hard-fought, was bittersweet. Kexa's sacrifice was honored with a solemn ceremony, his bravery immortalized in the hearts of his comrades. Mathew, standing before his fellow soldiers, spoke of the journey they had undertaken and the strength they had found within themselves. Mathew's reflection on their journey was filled with a sense of achievement tempered by the knowledge of the challenges they had overcome. The bonds he had formed, the lessons he had learned, and the strength he had gained were crucial in the days ahead. He felt a profound sense of readiness, tempered by the knowledge that their true test was yet to come. In the aftermath, Mathew continued to serve as a leader and mentor, guiding the next generation of recruits. His story became a beacon of hope and resilience, inspiring others to rise above their limitations. The elite force, forged in the crucible of adversity, remained vigilant, ever ready to defend their home from future threats. The journey had transformed Mathew in ways he had never imagined. From a frail engineer to a celebrated hero, his evolution was a testament to the power of determination and the strength of the human spirit. As Tephara rebuilt and prepared for an uncertain future, Mathew's legacy endured, a shining example of courage and perseverance.